Bore da, croeso I Gwasanaeth yr Wythnos. Bore da and welcome to this week's assembly. Last week we learnt about the 6 Windsor Clive values. A value is about our attitude and behaviour, not just in school, but in everyday life. Each half term we're focusing on one value to learn about in school. This half term, our value is trust. We're thinking about and talking about why trust is so important to us. We also looked at songs that talk about trust as well. In last week's story, we heard about the monk and the yak, and how the yak helped the monk when he was really sick, and then the monk knew that he could trust the yak. Now, another way that we can build trust with somebody and earn their trust is by telling the truth and being honest. And this week's story is all about that, about how if we lie, people will not trust us. This week's story has a funny title, Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire, and it's all about Lionel Livercrust, a small boy with a big problem. His pants keep catching fire. He has no idea why, until one day he meets a very clever pig named Douglas, who just may know the answer. Lionel was a normal boy. Normal hair, normal knees, and normal freckles. But with one big difference. He told whopping great big lies, and when he did, something very strange happened. His pants caught fire. Whoosh! Up in flames they would go. And Lionel would have to put out the fire as soon as he could, no matter where he was. In his bathroom, the kitchen, even on a trip to the zoo. And this happened a lot, because Lionel loved to tell lots of lies. Like when he once said his nan was over 200 years old, or that he'd held his breath underwater for 3 hours, or that he tried elephant poo on toast, or that he'd wrestled an enormous grizzly bear, or that he'd even been to the moon and back 5 times. Until one day, after telling one extremely whopping great lie, he sat in a muddy pond and began to cry. Suddenly, a pig named Douglas waddled up to Lionel. "Why are you crying, little boy?" questioned the pig. "My pants keep catching fire," sobbed Lionel. "It's so embarrassing, and my mum's really cross because every time it happens, she has to spend all her money buying me new underpants." "Oh dear," said Douglas. "And when does this happen?" "Well, it happened when I told my best friend my nan was over 200 years old, and when I told my teacher I'd been to the moon and back 5 times, and when I told my next door neighbour I'd had a wrestle with a grizzly bear." "Ah," said Douglas the pig. "I think I know why your pants keep catching fire." "You do?" said Lionel excitedly. "Because you keep telling lies," revealed Douglas. "You see, if you tell a lie, your pants will catch fire. So if you wanted to stop, all you've got to do is start telling the truth." The next day in school, the teacher asked the class, "What does your mother or father do for a job?" Lionel began to get excited. He thought about what to say. An international undercover spy, a martial arts expert, a boss of a gigantic chocolate biscuit factory. Then he remembered what Douglas the pig said. All you need to do is start telling the truth. The teacher turned to Lionel. He began to panic. Beads of sweat trickled down his forehead. Should he lie or should he tell the truth? "Lionel, what does your father do?" questioned the teacher. He felt like his heart was going to explode. Then finally he blurted out, He's an accountant for a company that makes envelopes. Lionel closed his eyes and waited for everyone to start laughing at his dad's boring job. But they didn't. "Oh, an accountant," said the teacher enthusiastically. "He must be very clever." And with that, he moved on to the next pupil. Lionel looked down at his pants. No flames. Not even the slightest warm tingle. His pants hadn't caught fire. And not only that, the teacher was really impressed by what he'd said. Telling the truth was pretty cool after all. The bell rang for playtime, and Lionel ran out to play with his friends in his nice, comfortable, and definitely not on fire pants. And from that day on, Lionel never, ever, ever told a lie again. We all know that our pants won't catch fire if we tell a lie, but even though this was quite a funny story, there is an important message. If we want people to trust us and believe what we say and do, then we have to tell the truth and be honest. Sometimes telling the truth can be easy, but sometimes it can be hard. But people will trust and respect you more if you are honest and tell them the truth. I'm sure your teachers will talk about this with you today and over the week in class. Thank you for listening, and we're so proud that we can trust all of you.